Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching and listening to Tequila Aficionado's Sipping Off the Cuff. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California, here in the San Gabriel Valley. That gentleman out there is
Rick Levy, also in Southern California.
Rick and I have been beside ourselves, having a wonderful time with this brand new tequila. I don't know what happened to my bottle, but I only got like a third of it. But Rick has a full bottle. This is Cierto Tequila. And Cierto, you may or may not have heard anything about this tequila. If you're a nerd like I am, and this is your job, like it is mine, you know that this tequila, we talked about how substantial the bottle is. It's very heavy. It's a substantial bottle. This tequila it considers itself the most awarded tequila in history. All right. You can see a lot better color on Rick's camera. This is the Añejo. Now, there are four expressions. We only got two, and that's okay because, as you can see, this one got a lot. There's a lot of leakage in this one.
The Angels share is pretty incredible.
The Angels found out where they find it. They found out where they get this tequila because nobody's been able to find it. That's just it. The buzz on this tequila for the last 3 years, at least, they've entered every freaking contest in history, and they've won every single time, but nobody's ever been able to get the juice or see the bottle until 2023 of February of this year. Okay. Don't know why it took them so long. I don't know. I would love to interview the owner, who I've been in contact with for several years, who kept saying, we'll get you the bottle as soon as we roll out. And I don't know what the holdup was, but they kept entering these contests, and every so often we get a press release that said, won another gold medal, won another platinum medal, won another whatever. And so they've won everything. The only thing they haven't won is like, an Academy Award, the NASCAR. They haven't won any of those yet, but I'm sure that they entered, they would win. Anyway, this is the Añejo. We kind of did a little research on off camera. Shall we tell them where it comes from?
Absolutely. It comes from Noam 1146. What's the name of the
Tequila?
Yeah, Tequilena. I didn't want to get it confused with the brand El Tequileño,
right?
Which is
a whole other. That's a whole other neighborhood. Right. And it's a whole other style. This one, if you're familiar with Fuente Seca, the Cosecha line, an Artenom 1146, several others. I think you mentioned Caballito Cerrero. Does that come out of there?
Does it? I
don't think so.
But Cimarron per se.
Cimarron, that's the one. Cimarron comes out of there. That's the one.
Yeah.
Or if pronounced correctly, a cimarron. But anyway,
I can't roll my R's. I'm no good.
Yeah, you can't. Okay. I'm going to. I didn't dissect it last night, folks. I didn't. But I'm going to use a Glencairn for this one. I'm going to pour just a little bit because I decided that Blanco is so good. I am going to hide it from me. Rick, what are you using for your?
I've got this Dos El Jarrito for tequila.
The glassware of choice for Tequila Aficionado. Very substantial bottle with a very substantial MSRP. I'll reveal that a little bit later. I did not do this. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at the color on that.
Beautiful.
That's good. Yeah. This is wow. Yeah, I'll tell you why I went through so much of that yesterday. First of all, it's dangerously good. Secondly, I may have mentioned this in the Blanco review, but I was a judge in 2020 for a show that shall remain nameless, and should always remain nameless. But anyway, it was the year we couldn't travel, and it was offered to me, and I said, sure, just send me the samples. And a true blind tasting. We didn't know what we were tasting, and we didn't even know who won until I saw a press release that came across my desk. beautiful legs and tears. And I was trying to, I looked past my old flavor notes for that event, for that show, to compare to this one, because I'm pretty sure I did taste this tequila, because it blew the doors off of every other tequila in its category.
The legs and tears on this are a lot thicker and slower and flatter than we saw in the Blanco.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that's due to the barrel aging, the time in the barrel. This is a blend of multiple aged tequilas, so the youngest of which would have been in the Añejo category, right? Because they could be blending it with older tequilas as well, but you have to rank it at whatever the youngest was, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's left up to interpretation, I think. Well, the reason I say that is because the normas don't specify. They just give you a minimal. It's got to be anything 3 years and over has to be an extra añejo. So I would imagine these barrels, if it was the information I have, it says it's blended with other añejos. If it's blended with extra añejos, then you have a reserva, you have something, you have a different line that you can call something else. Not that won't happen, but that's not what this is. This one's a blend of añejos. So I will say it's a blend of everything that's in a barrel for 3 years. Okay, so that's what I got. That's how I will. Wow, what a nose! Holy cow! See, I didn't get any of these notes yesterday when I was just enjoying it in the snifter, and you lose if you don't have the right glassware. I got like coffee, I got leather and tobacco on right on the top of the nose, and of course it's been open only since yesterday. Don't judge me. There's like a third of that bottle left, and I'm gonna hide it from me. I'm putting it away. It's never going to see the light of day, not for a while.
Yeah, I think yours is going to be more developed because of the more contact that it's had with air. I just literally popped the cork, so I think it's just starting to develop here.
Yeah, there's more depth in this one. Well, now it's got more air. I don't know. What are you getting right now on the top of your nose on the first pour?
Well, I just poured it from the bottle that was just unsealed, and I was getting like some alcohol off the top, but that's dissipating fairly quickly.
Yeah, I instantly got tobacco, I got leather, I got some coffee. There was a heavy depth on the top of the nose.
Right, and this was aged in French limousine oak, and so that would be that's likely virgin oak, right?
I don't know. I have no idea. That we got minimal description as to what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely getting, sort of those French oak accents, but there's no like remnants of sherry or wine or anything.
Yeah. Like no. But I'm also not getting, when every time I hear French oak, or I imagine French oak, or I have a sample with this in French oak, it's much sweeter. There's not that sweetness. There's not that chocolate or cocoa sweetness, that I get like in a Casanova, for instance, or something like that.
Oh, right.
It's deeper. And it could be the char too. It could be, again, what they're doing to the barrel prior to it being filled with any liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of depth, a lot of tobacco, a lot of leather.
I'm gonna try warming this in my palm a little bit. Swirl it, see if I can get it to develop a bit more.
Yeah. Again, I'm just holding my Glencairn by the foot, and that's. Yeah, the notes aren't sweet. They're deep.
Yeah.
And these are the wood notes. I'm also not getting any agave, but that's I would hope I detect some of that in the flavor.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more along the lines of like the bitter chocolate that you
Yeah,
get
maybe
from
so.
that type of barrel.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, I don't want to say anything about I don't want to make any sort of determinative statements at this point on the nose, because like we saw with the Blanco, it was revealing itself in layers, and it
Right.
developed, and there was a lot of interesting things happening. So I'm just kind of, I'm witnessing as it develops in the glass.
Again, Virgin Rick. We're getting Virgin Rick here, folks. Yeah, it's definitely the nose is definitely a little bit lighter at the very top, but the depth, it's deep. There's some. This is it right now. I can tell you from what the sample I've got here, cigar tequila right off the bat. It would be an easy pair.
I think I'm starting to get some lemon, orange peel.
Yeah, the notes, the sweeter notes now it's opening up are more at the bottom, which is odd because normally you'll get the sweet notes at the top. And this one, I'm not getting them. They weren't there. But again, my sample has a whole lot more air than yours does right now. So
I wonder if I might be getting a little bit of the char from the barrel.
yeah, the sweetness is definitely at the bottom of the sample of the glass. Beautiful legs and tears, lovely color. It's like it's a gold. It's got gold. It's gold with gold highlights. It's almost like, again, luminescent.
And it's like these legs and tears on the glass, they are just not moving. They are taking their sweet time.
Yeah, they're slow, taking their own sweet time, and that's okay. So again, we're determining that I guess on the mouthfeel, it's gonna have more of a more body and structure on your mouth. That'll come naturally from the barrels.
It would have to. It would have to, right?
You want to dive in, shall we?
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Mm. 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 Oh. Mm.
Wow. Wow. I did not appreciate this the way I'm doing it right now. Last night I was just drinking. Tonight or today, what a gem.
Wow.
Wow.
This is really something to warm you on a cold winter night.
Yeah, it's got remnants. It's got it's reminiscent of the effect it has, like Tears of Llorona. Tears of Llorona is like a warm scarf around your neck. That was Lisa's descriptor when she tastes this. It's like a warm scarf on a cold day. It's like it's like it's like a warm hug
warm
inside.
Fuzzy down my back.
Yeah. and this plays like that. Granted,
So
Tears of Llorona.
Yeah, it's interesting having this back to back with the Blanco, because with the Blanco we were getting lots of layered stuff off the nose, and then the on the palate it was much more, there was more, the dominance of the pepper, and then after that they were like, lower layers of other things, whereas this, it was a little bit more difficult to work out on the nose, and then on the palate there was just all this stuff going on immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's what the legs and tiers are for. That's what we're talking about, body and structure. When it's doing that to your entire palate and giving you everything at once.
Yeah.
And still, it's got a great finish. It's got that finish just goes on and on and on. And it's an 80 proof. It's an 80 proof tequila. I mean, this again, bold enough to pair with a cigar. I'll go right there and say that.
I'm getting, there's still a good pepper effect. It's probably mixed a little bit with like some baking spice from the wood, or like a cinnamon, a cinnamon. Cinnamon. There's like a cinnamon aspect to the pepper now. But then it's just the warmth of the effect on the finish is just fantastic. And then on the palate, I was getting some of that orange, and it does have a thicker viscosity than the Blanco did on the palate, obviously,
it does.
And corresponding to the legs and tiers, but still, nothing that would coat.
Again, nothing artificial, so don't worry about additives or anything, if that's a big thing for you. I think everybody's getting over that whole whatever. But yeah, it's got some great depth. It's not as sweet as I thought. When you hear French Limousine, again, I know that the Casa Noble has their barrel made for them at a certain cooperage in France. It's famous for doing these, and so it's obviously these barrels are coming to them with their specs and already charred the way they want it and all that. But this one's not as sweet as some of the other French oak barrels that we hear about, or that you and I have had, in the past.
The heaviness of the char will affect the sweetness too, right? Like if it has a heavier char, it'll tend to be more sweet.
I think even the trees, the planks, everything affects the final product of the, just the barrel. But yeah, I would imagine. And again, I don't know if these are used barrels or virgin barrels. I don't know. It doesn't, the scriptures don't say, and I'd have to find out from the growers, the distillers.
Would you say that maybe this is more of a Scotch lovers kind of añejo?
Mm-hmm.
On the whiskey or bourbon end, you'd probably have more sweetness to the profile. But it really almost seems like it's all about the wood in here. They're starting with great stuff, obviously, but it's the wood talking to me, I think.
I would go that route. Yeah, if you're a Scotch drinker, this is up your alley for sure. Or even if you're a bourbon drinker, and if you like stuff at barrel proof, you'll love this, because it kind of behaves like it's barrel proof, but it's not. It's a bold tequila, like the Blanco was bold to begin with. And I'll say that,
but now, like the Blanco, it's developing on additional passes on my palate. I am starting to get some sweetness around the edges, and it's a buttery, I think, almost maybe like a butterscotch.
I'll buy that. I'll go with
it's not it's not jumping out at me as much as like the the more I use the word bitter, but I don't want to use that in a negative context, but like the more bitter notes you would get from the French oak, like the bitter dark chocolate or
like a cacao instead of a chocolate. Instead of the sweeter chocolate notes, you get more of a dry powder, like powdered chocolate or powdered cacao. And again, like I said, right off the nose is deep. I mean, I'm getting tobacco. I'm getting leather.
Are you getting leather? I was thinking about that in my head if I was finding the leather. And then as I was thinking that, I think I found like some dried stone fruit.
Oh yeah, but it's not, again, it's not sweet and fruity. That's just it. It's
Right.
kind of weird because it's not, if there's stone fruit, maybe like ripe stone fruit, where it's just like it's on the edge of turning rotten, and don't laugh. So sommeliers actually buy fruit and let them rot so they can get a smell of what that smells like. They get some kind of an idea of what a ripe fruit is, a fresh fruit, overripe, and then rotting. I mean,
Or
all that,
even,
the whole spectrum counts.
yeah, or even, dried.
You know what else I would go with, like nuts. I like toasted, roasted nuts, not toasted. There's some depth in there. I would go. Yeah, I would go. I would go nuts.
You would go nuts. You
I
did
was
go
going to.
nuts, Mike.
Yeah,
What's left in that bottle proves it.
I know. Huh? Yeah. Uh, yeah. Like you normally will say toasted almonds, but this is more like roasted nuts. It's deeper.
Well, like a roasted chestnut or something.
Mm. Spectacular. I'm just gonna go. Let's just call it what it is. The brand of promise nominee.
Oh
And
yeah.
that,
Anything we can sit here and analyze for this long definitely needs to
well,
compete.
yeah. Sorry, folks. I know we kind of got long in the tooth here. I think our first review was like 30 minutes, but it takes that long because if you're going to spend this kind of money. By the way, let me just read you the MSRP on this, just so you can, I don't know, kicks and giggles. But the Cierto Tequila Private Collection Añejo, the SRP is $169. Okay. Again, like I said with the Blanco, for this kind of depth and quality, if it's got us talking for 30 minutes, there's something behind this tequila. It's not made. This is a sipping tequila. It's not made. It's made to enjoy. It's not made to just mix in your Latin Manhattan or anything.
Yeah,
like
don't put an ice cube in this, no matter what the marketing says, because you're just going to kill it if you do that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't need, because it opens up on its own. The water dilute it. It won't. You won't enjoy it as much.
Well, and the temperature of the ice cube is just going to kill it. Like, maybe you want to do like, a scotch or a whiskey drinker might do, where, you put just a couple drops of water in there to, get it to bloom. But, it's like I was having difficulty on my initial pour with the aroma, but it's really opening up now that it's had time to react with the air in the glass.
Yeah, there's really a lot of depth to it. And of course, it starts that way. If it starts with this kind of Blanco, of course it's gonna be complex. I gotta say, let me just, if you didn't see the Blanco review, let me give you the quick ins and outs of what we got on the press release. Cierto's aged tequilas mature primarily in rare French limousine oak casks, which previously contained fine wines and spirits, including cognac and Armagnac.
Cognac.
That's why we're getting what we're getting. See, I didn't even bother reading this until, sometimes you don't want too much notes to influence what you're getting unless you can't define it. All right. Then we go back into the press release or the flavor notes. Each expression is blended with aged tequilas from the Fonseca family's private library, containing some of the oldest and rarest tequilas in existence. The result is a luxuriously smooth and pure tasting collection of tequilas that are considered by spirits experts and tequila connoisseurs as some of the finest in the world. Okay, Cierto, for those of you who don't know, Cierto means true. And it's, supposedly the most...
For marketing copy, I would say that's really fair.
Yeah, I would too. No, you know what? Because you know how many times we read what do you call it, the tequila
Yeah, it's like
happy talk?
I coined the tequila marketing happy talk phrase. So
Yeah, no, that's about as real as you don't have to lie. That's exactly what this is.
yeah.
It had that depth and that quality, and there was no sweetness to it. So it made sense to me that these are older barrels. It's older juice that's been holding. Um, you know, the barrels are not virgin like they are with Casa Noble. Those are virgin barrels made for
Mhm.
that. That's what that is. That's
You could
beautiful.
just, oh, it's so easy to spend a lot of time with this.
Well, that's kind of why I went through two-thirds of the bottle. In fact, I still have a sample of it over there in my snifter, but it was not this. You know, again, I wasn't enjoying it or dissecting it. I wasn't tasting with
Mm.
anybody. On occasion, I will dive into something that I'm sure I've had somewhere before, and that's kind of what initially what it was. And then I was just enjoying myself, and next thing I know, it's two-thirds gone. So dangerously good, folks. What's it going for in Old Town? The price tag on
Old Town is offering this currently for 155 a bottle.
such a deal, you know.
Yeah, you could save yourself $14.
$14 to buy you a cheap Blanco, you know. So made with a diffuser. This is just so
not this.
not this one. No,
This,
no,
yeah.
not this. This is the real deal. Again, if you didn't catch the Blanco review, this is made at La Tequileña Distillery. The Blanco, the agave itself is hand selected from one of their fields. It is alembic and copper pot stills and coffee column stills. So I'm sure that they're blending this, is what it sounds like. It's a blend of both styles for their Blanco. And it's by the co-founders Enrique Fonseca and Sergio Mendoza, fourth and fifth generation agaveros. So they are first and foremost agave growers, and then the rest is just commentary, as they say. And again, beautiful. We're gonna have to find a separate category for them, because it's just not fair to put this añejo up against anything else, because it's no wonder they keep winning awards. Well, you're so unique and different that when you go up against the average 3-year-old bourbon aged barreled añejo, you're going to lose. You're going to lose to these
There's
guys.
no comparison.
No comparison. So we're not going to do that to you.
It might it might as well be a different category.
Well, it's obviously what they're telling us. This is a blend. It's a blended añejo. We had one not too long ago, Don Rico, which is a double barrel. This is a multiple barrel. What it sounds like, multiple barreled aged or multiple aged blend. And again, not uncommon. Happens in Scotch, happens in whiskey. They do it all the time, for consistency. In this case, they did it not for the consistency. They did it for the difference, to make it different from everybody else. And they managed to accomplish it. So Brand of Promise nominee for these guys. Beautiful. Even at $155, I still wouldn't blink twice. Like you said, maybe you're a Scotch guy. If you like Tears of Llorona, you don't want to pay 200 some odd, because that's what it goes for, 260.
Or if you're a cognac guy, it's because
cognac. Or if you like, Paradiso, I would say if you're looking for that, because it does have a drier finish. Even the Blanco with the pepperiness on the tail end was drier, because pepper, that finish was the pepper. It wasn't the alcohol. So I would say the Blanco is a little dry as well, but this one finishes dry. I love it. Fantastic. Just, again, that's our take, folks. If you have had Cierto Tequila and you have a fuller bottle than mine, let me know. Let me know what you paid for it. Where are you finding it? Where is it available? Because again, they supposedly just rolled this thing out in February of 2023, but they've been winning awards quietly not so quietly if you've been following the market like I do. I've been chasing these guys for at least 3 years, and they've been winning every single award, every contest that you can think of, they've entered and won. And now I know why. And nobody could, there wasn't any information available as to what they were doing to get all this hardware they were winning. So, now we know. There's still a little bit cloak and dagger stuff. I mean, no one's ever seen the owner. I've been in contact with him for at least 3 years, promising us samples, and finally we got the samples from the PR company. But I appreciate that. Thank you, folks. You've been watching and listening to Tequila Aficionado, sipping off the cuff on all of our channels and platforms. I'm Mike Morales here in the San Gabriel Valley of Southern California. That guy out there is
Rick Levy in the San Pasqual Valley of Southern California.
And wherever you're following us, folks, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. We're still on Pinterest. Is anybody else on Pinterest? Hello. Yeah. Don't forget to
Mike's on MySpace.
Get your MySpace. We're on we're on Yahoo. I don't know. Anyway, whatever you do, folks, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.